Okay, so here's the next steps. You've got your vehicle picked out, you know what you want to buy. Now you have to try to figure out I'm gonna go get a loan. I go to GCU or whatever bank you have or Ford Finance and say, okay, I need to apply for credit. I want to get a loan for this amount. And here's kind of what's gonna happen. So what I want you guys to be aware of is like there are some ways that you can get an idea or an estimate of how much a loan is gonna cost. So the first thing you should do is go to, let me see, what will I go to here? Go to a web page and go auto loan calculator. Calculator. Okay, just do a Google search. A bunch will come up. It doesn't matter which one you use, they're all about the same, and they will not give you necessarily the exact amount, but they'll give you a really good idea or close estimate as to what your loan payment might look like. So let's go to this one. It's going to open up this calculator.net and check it out. You can put all this info in and you can estimate your monthly payment and what the loan is actually going to cost. So, what are all these items that we need to learn? Well, your auto price is pretty straightforward. That's how much the vehicle costs or that MSRP. So, that truck I was looking at was $83,805. Okay. Now, the term, most car loans are for 60 months or 5 years. Sometimes they'll give you 72 months, which is 6 years, seems to be the standard now. If they try to, here's how it works: the more time you get, the more time you have to pay that loan, the lower your payment, but the more it's going to cost you in the long run. Okay. So, like, if I get an auto loan for 5 years, I'm going to pay a certain amount of money. My payments are going to be a little bit higher, but I'm going to pay less for the loan. If I get a 6 or 7 year loan, I'm going to have a lower monthly payment, but over the long term, I'm really going to pay a lot more. So let's see, or we're going to like punch some numbers in and see what that looks like. So let's start with the standard 5 year. That's typically what you get. Now, the important part here is the interest rate. Okay, we're going to look at interest rate. Now, 5% is for someone with a pretty good credit score. We'll go into details on what that is on Friday. But for the most part, as a young person with not a lot of credit history and things like that, you're going to get maybe like a 12 or even a 15% loan. Okay. When you have good credit, you get a lower interest rate. When you have bad credit, you get a very bad interest rate. When you have no credit, it's kind of the same thing as having bad credit. You're going to get a high interest rate, maybe 12, 13, 14, or 15%. But you're going to see that this starts adding to the cost of your vehicle. Don't worry about cash incentives for this practice problem or this kind of like how we're going to do this project. For a down payment, let's say, I don't know, maybe you save up like $5,000, $3,000, 3,500 bucks. I feel like that's about the same. That's about the amount that you could be able to save up from a little part-time job. Don't put anything for trade-in value. We live in the state of Texas. Our sales tax is not 6 point, it's 8.25%. And then title registration and other fees, we know from um, buying vehicles that it's usually about $2,000, $2,200. Okay, so we're going to leave that in there. We're going to include the tax and the fees, and then we're going to calculate. Now, ooh, no wonder I want to be able to afford this car. For this vehicle that I'm going to buy at 83,000, look at my monthly payment. My monthly payment's 1989. 1,000, almost $2,000 for this, for me to buy this truck. But look at this. In addition to the $89,000 that it's costing me, I'm going to pay, well, I'm paying 89,000. So wait, I'm like, wait, my car cost 83,000. Why am I getting a loan for 89,000? Okay. Well, there's sales tax and then there's the down payment which they're going to take out. And what that means is I'm really actually financing the auto price plus the sales tax plus that 2,200 for the title registration. Okay. And remember, the dealership's already added in like $2,000 for dealership fees. So now I'm looking at, now my vehicle's gone up to 89, almost $90,000. But look at my loan payments. I'm going to pay total loans of, wait, 119,000. How did that happen? How am I going to pay $119,000 for a truck that cost $83,000? Well, look at the total loan interest right under here, because my loan interest is $29,900. So what that means is at this 12% rate, which is about probably what somebody with a no credit history is going to get, you're going to wind up paying $29,000, almost $30,000 in interest to borrow that money to pay for that car. So you got to pay back the vehicle price, the tax, title, and license, the sales tax, and then the interest. So for 5 years, my interest is 29,000, almost $30,000. My total price for everything with taxes, interest, and all that is, look, 122,000. So I don't have a calculator in front of me, but that's 122. Let's call it 123 minus 83. That's almost $40,000 on top of. So if I can't pay this car cash and I want to go borrow money from a bank, I am going to wind up having to borrow $90,000 because of sales tax and other stuff. And then when I pay it back over time, over those 5 years, this $2,000 payment I'm going to pay every month, I'm going to wind up paying the bank back $122,000. So that means the bank is going to make $40,000 off of me paying these payments. Now look, let's see what happens. What I want you guys to do for today's activity, there's no um, questions I'm going to have you answer. I don't want you to really take any notes, but I do want you to do is go into your laptop, type in auto loan calculator, get to this calculator.net, and start playing around. Put some price tag. Maybe you know a car that you like and what the price is going to be, and look at what happens when you change the terms. So let's say instead of 60 months, let's change it to 72 months. What happens? It went up. So remember I said, yeah, but look at my payment. So my monthly payment went down $200 instead of paying. Remember when it was at 60 months, 5 years, I was paying 1989. So I extended to, let's pay this loan back in 6 years. Wow, my payment went down, but look at the overall cost. Now instead of borrowing 123 or whatever it was, now I'm borrowing 129. What was it before? 123,000 dollars. So by extending it another year, my monthly payment went down, but my total loan cost went up $7,000. So these are the things that when you go to get that car and you're like, this is a beautiful car, I really want it, I test drove it, I am ready to take it home. This is the kind of nonsense that those car salesmen are going to do in the background. And they're going to come to you. They're going to show you these numbers. They're going to show you that monthly payment. And they're going to say, what kind of payment are you comfortable with? And you're going to say, well, I definitely don't want to pay $1,700. And they're going to go, oh, would you pay $1,500? And you go, yeah, maybe. I think $1,500 is more comfortable for me to pay a month. And they're going to say, well, why don't, instead of paying it in 6 years, why don't we give you a 7-year loan? So what 7 times 12 is? 72, 82, 84 months. No, 72, 82, 84 months. And let's see what happens. Instead of paying $129,000 for the loan because of the interest and all the other stuff, what happens if we extend it to 7 years? The payment goes down to 1,500, closer to what I'm comfortable with. But now look how much it goes up, the loan. Now you're paying $136,000 for the total loan. The total loan interest is $43,000 instead of $30,000 like before. Say, you know what, man? They're not going to show you this loan interest number. They're not going to show you the total cost. What they're going to show you is this monthly payment on a piece of paper written in pen. And they're going to say, is that payment good for you? Are you okay with that? And you'll say, you know what? That's closer than I can pay 1,500. I can't pay 2,000 a month. And you don't realize that in those 7 years that you're going to be making this $1,500 payment every month, what that $83,000 truck costs $136,000. You're going to add almost, well, double, close to double the cost just in interest and percent interest because of the interest rate. Now you can get that down by getting a lower interest rate. You get a lower interest rate, both your monthly payment goes way down, your overall loan goes way down. So there's like interest plays a very important role in uh, how much you're going to pay for the car. So the point to this little exercise is, in addition to the price of the vehicle, you have to worry about the price of the loan. How much is it going to cost you to borrow that money? And that's when percent interest and interest rate becomes very important. So I'm going to have you guys watch the video and then uh, go into your auto calculator and play around with your percent, with your interest rate and your term in months. So, like I said, 12 months is a year. So, like usually you do a 4 year, 5 year, or 6 year loan. For some people that have poor credit, low credit, or bad credit, they will try to con you into a 7 or 8 year loan now, with tricking you by saying, oh, this monthly payment is very low. And you're not realizing that it's costing you $20,000 to borrow that money and then get that car that you want. So, these are just things I want you to be aware of, and hopefully it helps you when it's time for you to go buy a car and you can understand a little bit of the math behind some of this stuff and you don't get conned into paying way more for a vehicle than you should. Okay, I'm going to try to come up with an activity for us to do tomorrow in class or Friday to kind of practice with you with these numbers so you can really see the impact that interest rate has and the long term have on your vehicle. Okay.